I want to share with you what I did consistently over a 23-month period to lose a lot of weight. I had gained it over a few years, and I remember there was this day I was walking in the mall. I had just spent a lot of money on something, and I was calculating in my head and thinking, oh gosh, you spent too much. Don't buy any more and just go to the car. And I was calculating how much that would affect anything else. And there it was, a mirror hit me straight in the face. And I looked and I went, what? And I looked more at this woman who looked very bewildered. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Seriously? I was massively huge. I had gained so much weight, and I don't know how, but I had somehow avoided looking dead on in the mirror like that. But I was really big. And when I looked at myself that day, I saw it for the first time. I stared, and I didn't get angry with myself, but I was just bewildered. How had I put so much weight on? How had I let go of my usual habits? How had I just slipped into that zone where I ate and ate and ate and didn't even think about how it was affecting me? So then I started how did you get like this? Where are you? And it really disturbed my spirit that I hadn't noticed before that day. It wasn't that I was so big, it was that I had gotten there without even realizing how much weight I had put on. And it was a wake up call. So I finally left the mirror and I was trudging out, feeling embarrassed about myself, feeling ashamed of not having caught it sooner. And I'm trudging, and all I can think is, oh God, please don't let anybody I know see me. Don't let anybody see me. And the worst thing is, I actually thought people cared about how I look. They didn't, only I did. So I guess that was the first time that reality shook for me. And it was a bit of an eye opener. I want to introduce myself. My name is Easter. Welcome to my channel. This is a no BS way of losing weight where we just talk about what really works, asking yourself why you're eating so much in the first place, dealing with it, and then cutting out the foods you should be cutting out and the food behaviors. And then there were the battle mornings. The mornings were my glory time. I get up, make my coffee, come rest on my bed to do a little bit of journaling. And having my coffee, I'd look at my phone and say, oh no, not today. And I'd go back to my journaling and even journal, no, not today. Look at my phone again, pick it up, swipe up, hold it in front of me saying, no, no ordering today. Put it down. But I didn't really put it down. I just kind of put my hands down while I held the phone and then think to myself, okay, just two. So just two was 2 Tim Hortons cookies. Now, if you live in the Canada or the US, you probably know these cookies. They're like this big with God only knows how many calories in them and full of sugar. They're crazy loaded with sugar. So I'd look at my phone again and then eventually swipe up and say to myself, okay, just order 2. Okay, but 2 isn't good because if you order 2 today, then you're going to have to pay the delivery fee again tomorrow. So you might as well get 5, 6. Okay, get 6. No, you know what? Get 12, max what you get, and you can spread it through the week. Oh, but you might eat them all. No, not today. I'm not doing that today. I'm past doing that. I'm never doing that again. The cookies come with a muffin and a large triple coffee with shots of caramel in it and a bagel with butter and cheese. Every day. And every day I'd eat the bagel first. I'd look at the muffin and say, save that for the afternoon. I'd have my one little cookie. I'd have my second little cookie guilt-free. And then they sat beside me, this bold red box full of cookies. And I would keep journaling or doing whatever I was doing by that time. And I'd look over and I'd go back. Then my hand would reach over and my hand would come up to my mouth and I'd be eating the third one. Then I'd be eating the seventh one. And then it was number 12. And by the time I got to number 12, there was no self-negotiating anymore. There was no, just one more. Come on, you're having a hard day. Oh, Easter, you're sad today. You should have a little bit more. There was none of that left because I knew by number 12 that I was just not, there were no excuses left. There was just no denying that I was out on a full out go to town mode. I was in full go to town mode and I was going to have it whether I wanted it or not. And I wanted it because if I didn't, I wouldn't. So then the very same moment as I look at the now crumpled up red box that has been hand in, hand out for hours, I then have the afternoon muffin and lunch and my coffee. And one day I said, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And I said, well, I was having a bad day. No. Why? And I started to realize that every time I felt off, I ate. If I was excited about something, I ate. If I was upset with someone, I ate. If I was feeling sensitive, I ate. If I was anxious, I ate. The list goes on. You name the emotion, and it was a reason. There was a reason every time. And if there wasn't one, I could make one up quicker than you could say, make it up. And every day I promised myself it was the last time. Every day. But then one day, when my daughter came to me and she said, Mom, if you keep doing this and gaining weight, you're not going to live to see my daughters grow up. She had these beautiful twin little girls that were 5 months old at the time. They're beautiful. I love them so much. And I thought about that, and that's what changed it for me. That was my time. That was my moment. I had been somewhat preparing myself, I guess, but that snapped me into place. Boom, just like that. And I cut it all out very quickly. And, I know everybody does everything differently, and I encourage people to take baby steps, but I didn't take baby steps. I cut flour, I cut sugar, I cut double portions, I cut the triple portions, I cut the boredom eating and the comfort eating and all the rest of it overnight. Was it easy? No, not at first. But the hardest part actually was deciding to do it. And that deciding to do it was a bit of a war zone because I really wanted to do it, but I just couldn't pull myself into it until I had the reason. Once I got my purpose, once I realized what was important to me and why I wanted to lose weight so much, I wanted my energy back. I wanted to feel good. I felt like crap every single day. I wanted to feel alive. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to fit back into some clothes that weren't disgusting looking. And I was tired of hiding in dingy, dark clothes. I like pink. I like lavender. I like blue. And none of those things were what I was wearing at the time. I developed a system that worked for me. And what I started to do was catch myself as soon as I felt like eating and it wasn't time. I wasn't hungry. It wasn't meal time. And I'd say, okay, why do you want to eat? I just need, what do you need? Why do you need it? What is going on? That became my alarm bell that I needed to take care of something in the moment. So I literally stopped what I was doing every time I would feel this. And I would get my journal out and I would journal in a very specific way. I bullet point, rapid fire everything that was in my head. And then I would take a minute and then look at the bullet list and read it. And reading it, I'd be like, what? What are you thinking? How did you even think that? Why would you think that? And it gave me perspective. It gave me perspective. And sometimes I needed to pray about it or meditate about it. And sometimes I didn't. Sometimes that was just enough to get perspective. And then I would choose to do something healthy, something constructive. So I planned my day around wanting to prevent myself from going into eating too much again. So I started knitting, I started crocheting, started learning languages, I started, you name it, I started it. But it worked because it took up the mental real estate that wanted me to go eat. And instead, I was doing something really positive, something that was good for me, something that was making me productive. And it felt good not to feel trapped in that nasty runway I was on. I just couldn't get off of it for a while. But once I was off, I was really off of it. And I was not going to go back there for $1,000,000. I don't know if you've ever been caught in self-negotiation like that, where the very voice that's telling you to just have a little bit is later telling you, oh, shame on you. Wow, you have no control. You can't do anything right. Can't you stick to any goals? The same thought pattern that drove me to eat was the same thought pattern that guilted and made me feel remorseful afterwards. And I recognized that it was just a thought that switched hats and kept me in this negative thought pattern all the time. And I hated living there. I didn't want to feel negative anymore. And if there's one thing that losing the weight this way has done for me, is it's brought me peace. And I never expected that. It brought me confidence, but not because of looks. It's because I did it. I set a goal. I stuck to it. I walked through it, found a purpose. And you know what my days look like now? I have energy. Yes, I get sick once in a while, but I don't have that aching all day. I don't go to bed with my joints screaming at me every night the way they used to, and I needed Advil every single night because my joints were screaming. I don't have inflammation problems anymore. I don't have a lot of problems that I had health-wise at the time either. So if you're just joining and watching me for the first time, thank you for joining. If it resonated with you, please leave a comment and let me know what hits you and if it sounds like something you go through too. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and come back for more, because I always have more.